literally the most frustrating activity of my day. You would have thought we were trying to cure cancer in an hour. Like, literally, are you joking? Like,
That was ridiculous. And I'm just so happy that we're laughing about it now. So good to see you and be talking to you on Facebook.
in one form, in one medium, yes.
I can't.
That's literally the most absurd thing I will do for her today.
Oh, God.
Well, I'm so sorry for everyone who were tuning in and joining back, and I don't know. We'll see if anyone comes back. That was madness, but such is life. And with that, why don't you explain to everyone who you are, what do you do, and let's get this party started.
Sure. First of all, let me apologize. I'm losing my voice.
Oh no.
But I think you can all hear me and I'm clear enough.
Yeah.
So I'm Kim Weiler, and I'm the founder of the Love Group, which is a speaking agency for young girls. So myself and 30 other incredible women, you being one of them, are going to be traveling around the country and eventually the world to empower young girls at schools, colleges, camps, organizations, all sorts of places, you name it, juvenile detention centers, rehab centers, just to give them confidence and tools to feel confident and go out into the world and know how to be out in the world confidently and to learn how to love themselves. So that's what where all of my focus really is right now. And
Gotcha.
It's so wonderful to connect with you. As you know, I just did my very first TED Talk talking all about empowerment for our youth.
Yep.
So I can't wait to just let people know what that experience was like and encourage them and hopefully inspire them to go out and do one themselves.
Absolutely. Hey, Shira Daniels. She says, oh, hey, girl.
Shira. Hi, Shira.
Very nice. So yeah, okay. So empowerment of girls. How did you get started with wanting to work with youth and specifically motivating and empowering young girls?
Well, let me go a little back further. My entire 20-year career has been behind the scenes in television and the film industry. So about 6 years ago, going on 7 now, I had a whole health journey dealing with a skin disease called psoriasis, which I'm sure most of everyone who is watching or will watch knows what that is. And I really battled with that for my whole life, pretty much. Well, since I was a teenager. So over 20 years. And so when I was in my mid-30s, I had gone through this whole health journey where I learned that food can be my medicine and thinking positively, which is, not an easy one for people to do, but really going out of my way to build a self-care practice for myself and a positivity practice and really just change my attitude about how I felt about me, because looking at my skin, I didn't really have a lot of love for myself. It just caused a lot of feelings of shame. So I had gone through this whole journey with my skin and I healed myself through positivity and food. And
awesome.
Yeah, it's really such an amazing accomplishment. And then I went on to start.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So then I went on to start helping people. And I realized while I was working in TV, wow, I really am starting to feel this kind of pull to just contribute to the world and help people and impact them in a positive way. So that's kind of when my journey began. Yeah, when I was around 36.
Okay.
And during that journey, I became certified as a holistic health coach and was helping people with skin issues, mostly adults. And one day my sister she's a high school math teacher. She asked me to come to a workshop for her students after school. And she wanted me to talk about positivity. And I swear to you, that workshop just changed my whole outlook on what I want to do. It just was so rewarding. And I never thought to focus on that. I never thought to, oh yeah, let me help young kids. And it just it makes so much sense. And it really is so cut out for me. Like, I love kids. I love interacting with kids. I feel like I can kind of be on their level and have fun and I know my nieces and nephews like love playing with me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so that workshop really just changed something for me. And after that, I honestly felt a bit stuck. I was trying to figure out what direction to take my new health career and
Okay.
slowly transition out of television altogether. And I started working
Mm-hmm.
with like a business strategist. And we sat
Mm-hmm.
down and she just had me kind of tell her everything I was doing, everything I was working towards, you know, what lights me up inside, what doesn't light me up.
Yeah.
And together we created the idea of the love group, where we can go out and it could be me and a panel of women, and we can go do confidence building workshops and teach
Mm-hmm.
our youth and just help them. And
Absolutely.
the second we started talking about it, I was like, this is yes. Like everything in me was yes. And that's how you know that you're meant, you
Awesome.
know, that's how you know you're meant to
Mm-hmm.
follow that path.
I love it. Absolutely. It's an honor to be one of the speakers of the Love Group. And I think that, yeah, I mean, personally, as when you and me met and you found out, you know, a little bit more about my story, which is all about, you know, wanting to empower women and young girls to professionally soar, to personally soar. You know, the thing about girl empowerment, why it's important is what do girls become? They grow up to be women, right? And it's a lot easier to mold and affect the minds of young people so that they become as badass, you know, as they need to be, as opposed to always trying to work backwards, right? Like, why not work forward towards this goal, right? And that
Yeah.
girls, they go through so much, you know. I mean, you and me both had to deal with challenges growing up, but like kids and girls now have it so much even worse than when we had it. So it's really important, the work that you're doing and that we all will be doing. So I guess then my next question is, what brought you to the TEDx platform? How did you say, okay, I have the love group, I have my empowerment message. Why TEDx?
Well, TEDx, that organization, I'm like in love with them, obsessed with them. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they just have such a beautiful message. Every video you will ever watch that is online is so inspiring, so moving. They
Mm-hmm.
change you as a person. Like you're not the same person
Mm.
before you watch that any talk to after. You are just a completely different person. You're going out into the world with a different message, with with different emotions. You've
Mm-hmm.
changed. And so
Mm.
they've been on my radar for quite some time. There are days when I just need a little lifting up, and I watch a few
Mm-hmm.
videos, and a few turns into a marathon. And
Yeah.
if anyone out there ever needs to be inspired, just go to TED.com and or go to YouTube and Google inspirational TED Talks, and you will not be able to stop
Mm.
watching them. They're from
Mm-hmm.
people from all different backgrounds and all different ages, just get up there and talk about all these different ideas that their whole slogan is, you know, if you have an idea worth spreading. And so
Yeah.
they've been on my radar for so long. I have a vision board, and a picture of someone speaking on stage in front of an audience at a TED Talk has been up there for
Mm.
years. So,
Awesome.
and I honestly never knew what that process looked like. Like, do you apply? Do you have to know someone? Like, how does that all work? Right. So,
Yeah.
my sister, who's a high school math teacher, happened to have told me about 2 years ago that her school, there was an English professor who, it's a high school here in Long Island, New York, and there was an English teacher who is very heavily involved with TED. She is a volunteer. And so she had put a bid in for them to come do a TEDx event at her school, my sister's school, which
Mm.
is right
Gotcha.
around the block from my house. And when she told me that they were allowed and they were doing this last year, I was like, oh my gosh. I said to my sister, I said, you have no idea. This has been a dream of mine forever. Like, can I talk to that teacher? Can I apply? Can I just speak to her? I have so many ideas. And
Yeah.
at the time, I had no idea at the time that my message was about empowering our youth. If I were to have done one last year, it would have probably have been about nutrition, self-love. That was the path I was on. I was on a path of healing myself and helping other people heal from their skin
Mm-hmm.
diseases. So,
Yeah.
I ended up, she put me in touch with this teacher, and she ended up letting me know that I did not get in last year. And the reason I didn't get in was because they kind of had like a career theme, like more career orientated. So they had chosen their speakers, and there just really wasn't, it just wasn't the right fit. So
Mm-hmm.
I was really disappointed and sad. And this year, she, you know, I kept in touch with her, and she made it a point to tell me when the applications came out. I absolutely applied. But what was different was this year, my message was completely different. Now, my message was about how we can empower our youth so that they could grow up and be in love with the lives they lead because they feel powerful and worthy.
Yes.
And
yes.
So I find that very interesting. And I ended up getting in. Her board voted for me and thought my message was perfect and a perfect fit. And when I look back, I'm like, wow, that was so meant to be, because my message would have been completely different. Not to say it wouldn't have been another beautiful message, but I was really ready to do it this year. You know, I'm more grounded on my path. The Love Group has launched. We're starting to really get out there. This is the time. So it was really, timing really couldn't have been better. So looking back, I'm like, wow, there was no reason to be disappointed. It happened at the perfect time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I kind of
interrupt.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
To interrupt, Shira, Daniel says, if a school or camp wants to bring TLG to their kids, what kind of topics can they expect you to cover?
Oh, gosh. Well, thank you, Shira, for asking that great question. The Love Group covers so many amazing topics, everything from confidence to bullying to positivity to self-expression to style and, you know, having your own unique individuality and really owning that, to homosexuality and, you know, labeling. Gosh, I can go on and on, honestly. What's great is on our homepage of our website at thelovegroup.org, we have a whole slew of topics there for people for the schools and organizations to really browse through. Plus, when I connect with them or they connect with me, I usually talk them through what's a right fit to bring to their school. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. And Lisa Ludwig says, hey, ladies. So
hi,
I'm assuming
Lisa.
your tribe is coming out. I love it. I love it.
Thanks for the support, ladies. I appreciate it.
So absolutely. So timing is everything. I definitely speak to that all the time. I think that, you know, sometimes in life we do get discouraged because, you know, sometimes we think, oh, something should move forward now, but it might not be meant for you in that form, right? Maybe it's not meant for you at that time, right? So timing is everything in presentation, in when you do it, where you do it. It might not work in your current state. Maybe you need to do this elsewhere, right? So timing is everything.
Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest lesson you learned from offering your own TEDx talk?
The biggest lesson I've learned really from doing my TED Talk is honestly to love myself. Because that whole process, I was full of doubt. I was full of fear. I was so afraid. I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to get it in my bones quick enough. You know, you're kind of doing everything within like a 6-week period of time. You're writing multiple drafts. You're working with them, getting everything approved. Time is going by. I kept wanting to, you know, I was scared. And I honestly can't wait to do another one, because now I know I can do it. And I was giving myself love and, you know, talking to myself very kindly during that time. But deep down in my gut, I was so scared. And that's part of self-love, right? We do what we do it anyway. We take those risks, we fight through the fear, and we do it anyway. That is a huge part of self-love. And I was doing that.
Absolutely.
I was doing that the whole time. But, you know, I absolutely, that whole process, looking back, I'm like, wow, I look forward to having more fun next time with it. Because I think I was living a little bit too much in the fear and in the self-doubt. So, you know, but we do that with everything, right? We kind of experience that, and then we look back and we're like, I did it, I could do it. See, and you kind of prove it to yourself. So that was my biggest lesson out of it all. And to just believe in myself as far as the writing goes, because I love writing. You know, I wrote a book. I am a writer now, and sometimes I have a hard time calling myself a writer. And so just believing in yourself, just,
absolutely,
you know, because, and then every time I would do a draft, and the writing coach, who was amazing, you know, they have you work with someone to make sure it's the most impactful that it could be. You know, just, again, just having more fun with the process. It was an incredible process. I wish I would have had a little more fun with it.
Gotcha. So we have just a couple of questions. My question to you is if you could walk through just the process, since you're, referring to it, just so everyone is on the same page as to like, what do you do from step one to getting your TED Talk? And then Shira Daniel says, can you explain your what if tool from your TED Talk? So if you want to answer Shira's question, then go through mine. That's totally fine.
Yeah, sure. I'll answer yours first. So
okay.
the beginning of the TED Talk, let me start with this. So you fill out an application and anyone can go to TED.com and you could actually look up where they're doing TED Talks and TED events in your area or close to your area, but anyone can apply. Anyone could look up the locations and figure out if it's, right for them. I actually look forward to maybe traveling and doing one, in another state, maybe sometime. So once you apply, once you get accepted, somebody contacts you and basically about maybe 6 to 8 months, it kind of all happens pretty quickly, but you work with, I'm just going to call her a coach for, kind of like a
6 to 8 months or 6 to 8 weeks?
6 to 8 weeks. Did I say months?
6 to 8
weeks.
I'm
sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
6 to 8 weeks. Yeah. It happens pretty quickly. A couple of months.
Okay.
And so somebody from the organization, usually the person who's coordinating the whole thing, will contact you. So I got an email, me and all the other speakers got an email together. So it allows you to also, reach out to the speakers, email with them, find them on Facebook, just collaborate together, brainstorm, just connect and support each other, which is awesome because, the other speakers have such beautiful messages too. And it's so good to expand your network. So then after that, they just kind of keep you updated with emails and you start working one-on-one with the writing coach. And that in itself was such a beautiful process because, my particular coach, her name is Melanie, she was incredible. She's actually now come on board the Love Group to help the speakers. Yeah. She's amazing. And just working with her, she just gave me that support that I really needed, that I kind of had a hard time giving to myself because it was so new and I was scared, So she really helped me through the whole process. We went through about 4 drafts. And I'll never forget what I want to share was the first draft I sent to her, her first reply to me was, listen, I really don't think you need the first 4 pages of this. And I was like, what? Really?
Yeah.
So that was incredible. We threw it all away. And then I think draft 2, she was encouraging me to take my idea and what I wrote and throw it all away and start over. She gave me 1 sentence from the TED Talk to start over. She said, take that sentence and go running. Just trust me, trust the process. Don't look at your old script. Just take that 1 sentence, begin with that and start anew. And I did that. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I have a few weeks to rewrite this whole thing. But I trusted it. And she was right. Because what she said to me at the beginning was, when you're writing a TED Talk, she said, most people come into it having an idea and thinking that's their idea, that's their message worth spreading. She said, by the time you finish doing all the rewrites, she said, what you started A, she said, by the time you get to Z, she said, you have a whole nother talk, a whole nother message that you never knew that you even had in there. So my message didn't change, but my entire talk changed. And I really could see what she meant. I was like, yeah, it didn't end up anything like I thought anything like it started with.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So once we finished that process, I eventually, we just kept going back and forth. I eventually got her approval, which was like the best day of my life. I was like, woohoo! because now I had about 3 weeks left to just get it in my bones and memorize it. And not everyone memorizes it. Some people are better doing kind of like a bullet point in their head, having just moments where they know, okay, this paragraph starts here, this paragraph starts here, and just kind of memorizing points. And they just, but me, I knew that what would make me the most comfortable is to just memorize it, get it really strong in my bones so that I just had it in there and could just and now that way, once I got on stage and was actually doing it, I could just, talk. It just came out more natural for me to do it that way.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. And then we had a rehearsal, which was great. And after the rehearsal, we had a dinner with all the speakers and the staff. the staff all works at the high school where they had the event, and they all came together and gave their time. No one got paid, just volunteers to make this event happen. And they were just such amazing people. They just want to empower people and get all these beautiful messages into the world, you know, and change people. So
absolutely.
Yeah. And then we had the event.
Very cool.
That was just incredible. There's no words for, you know, being on stage and talking to a crowd of people and seeing all of your hard work come through fruition and now be this, like, this thing that you're like, it's here, I'm doing this, you know? So
awesome. All right. Well, I think that definitely gives people the insight as to kind of what that TED Talk journey is going to be like, right? Because I think a lot of people hear, ooh, TED Talk, and it sounds, you know, maybe intimidating or like, am I ready for this? But like you said, you know, you're never ready until you're ready, right? And even when you are ready, your readiness changes, right? Because they're going to be like, okay, girl, like, I like this, but let's try again with the writing, right? And that's good because that's growth, and it's uncomfortable, but it's growth and it's necessary. So I appreciate that. Now for Shira's question, and I also loved hearing in the speech itself. And if you guys didn't watch it, I'll share the link for her TED Talk, and I'll share the love group information so everyone can get that at the end of this. But what is your what if tool? What does that mean?
So yeah, thank you, Shira. I started the TED Talk off with asking the audience some questions if they had ever had the thought, like, you know, what if I don't get the job, or what if he or she doesn't ask me out on a date, or, you know, we've all had this constant. So basically we have this tendency, just people in general have this tendency to think what if thoughts to the negative. I find it very rare for our brains. They're kind of not wired to just go to this very positive place of like, oh, what if that happens? That'd be awesome. Or, you know, what if I get the job? What if this happens? And it totally makes sense. You know, we, and I talk about this in my TED Talk a little bit, but it makes us feel safe. That's really what it does. You know, when it's basically preparing us for, like, what if I fail? What if this doesn't go the way that I want it to? You know, it prepares us so that if something does go wrong, we'll be like, okay, well, we prepared ourselves for that. So, you know, it won't hurt as much, basically. So the what if tool that I had done with this workshop at my sister's high school, which I shared in the TED Talk, was I basically encouraged them to what if to the positive. So I had them, you know, come up with a few, maybe 3 to 5 what ifs. You know, what do they want to see happen in their life? It could be small, it could be big, it could be as big as, what if I get into the college of my dreams? It could be as small as, you know, what if my mom lets me go to that concert this weekend? It could be anything. But the whole point of that is you're basically rewiring, like kind of molding your thoughts to the positive. And look, I'm not going to lie, it takes a lot of practice to just naturally start creating a habit of thinking more positively. But I guarantee you, when you start really thinking positively over and over and over, and you flip your thoughts, just flipping from negative to positive and continually doing that throughout your life, you will start seeing a huge shift in your life. Things will start happening for you. Your life will you'll feel happier. It affects you on the most deepest cellular level. Feeling happy, positive emotion doesn't have toxicity. So your immune system will be stronger. It's proven to make you happier, to increase your self-esteem. You know, that's one way I healed my skin, was through having a really positive outlook. There was years and years where I would look at my skin and say really, really terrible things to myself. I would tell myself I'm ugly. I would feel shame. I would totally feel embarrassed, you name it. But when I actually started looking at my skin and thanking it for eliminating all those toxins out of my body, or saying I love you, like, yes, I'm a crazy lady. I say I love you to my skin. I say nice things to myself. But, you know, you'd be surprised how many people have a hard time doing that. You know, just people I talk to.
Absolutely.
You know, a lot of people can't look at themselves in the mirror and say I love you. It just doesn't feel right. And yes, it feels really weird and fake and odd at first. But just like anything, you know, you do it over time, and you will be able to keep doing it a little more naturally. It'll just start to come more natural, and your life will shift. People around you will just start asking you, like, what is going on with you? Like, how did you make that happen? Or how did you do that? Or, you know, you'll just start attracting more people, and you'll just feel happier, and you'll have this whole different presence to you, and it just changes everything.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And Shira added on to that by saying, if a person or company wants to get involved with the work that the Love Group is doing, are there any options to become a sponsor? Yes, but I will let Kim explain.
Yes, we are totally looking for sponsors right now. We are working on that. Any type of sponsorship is completely welcome. I'm looking right now to partner with amazing corporations who believe in my message, or organizations
Yep.
who believe in this message and want to help come on board, help mentor me, you know, just be involved and help us get all over this country to thousands of schools and camps and colleges and all these places where we could impact millions of young girls and eventually boys. We're already getting a lot of requests to talk to both boys and girls at high schools and middle schools.
Nice.
So I am not
Nice.
saying no to anything. Our mission originally was for young girls, and now I'm just like, we are open to helping anyone and everyone. So yeah, so thank you, Shira, for asking that question, because we absolutely, sorry, let me lift this up for a little more light. We are absolutely looking for people to come on board and help sponsor us, for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that you're open to working with young boys too. Like with in the work that I do with Long Island Girl Talk, as you know, we train young girls how to create their own television show. And, we started with girls because the founder is a woman, and it's all about, hardcore feminism. But I think you're absolutely right that, like, again, boys play a vital role in this world because they grow up to be men,
Right.
Men who make decisions as to how women are seen in entertainment, how women are portrayed in, in various aspects of our lives. And they play a vital role in the feminist movement, in women empowerment, in the Me Too movement, right? Like, we were one human species made up of multiple genders, right? And female and male. We've got to learn how to understand each other's narrative. We've got to learn how to get along better. I think that's a part of the problem, that we sometimes we get a little too close-minded, and we're like, oh no, we gotta protect our girls. But again, our girls go out and they interact with men. And so if men aren't being shown and trained and encouraged to treat other people equally, regardless of gender, then we're going to always continue to have Me Too moments. We're always going to have continued situations of people being subjugated under misogyny, under, all sorts of different biases. So it's absolutely, the Love Group can do well for girls, for boys, for non-conforming, right? For gender fluid, like the whole gambit, just human beings need love.
Yeah. And when we learn how to love ourselves, all we do is go out there and love others. So whether it's boys, girls, you name it, all of us, everybody, absolutely. I just feel like we all have to learn those tools, because that's what's missing, are the tools. So if we can get those tools in schools, whether it starts with the Love Group, and because a lot of schools actually do have tons of speakers coming in, tons of little programs. I'm actually really wowed by all of the events and organizations that are out there across the country. I've been connecting to them that are out there doing exactly this, just empowering boys and girls, because it starts when you're young, and if you can learn these tools back then, I think all the women in the Love Group, all the speakers, I say this in the TED Talk, we all do really have that one universal thing in common, is that we've learned over time how to love ourselves, and that our power comes from within. But when you're young, at least for me, I was kind of just grasping for anyone and everyone to love me, because I didn't know I could love myself. I didn't know how, that's for sure. Because I didn't learn those tools from my school or at home. So now I'm just so in love with this whole journey of this new purpose of mine, to just affect our youth in such a positive way. And
absolutely. So, just last couple of questions, I guess, would you definitely say you would recommend doing a TED Talk again for yourself? Who would you recommend people consider doing TED Talks? And then, of course, if people want to learn more about the Love Group, if you have certain announcements you'd love to make, please share.
Yeah. Well, I think that, first of all, anybody who wants to be a speaker, out there who has a message to share, who,
Mhm.
even if you're not maybe a public speaker or want to be a public speaker, I know writers who have written books who have this beautiful message, but they're not really in that public speaking arena. I think the TED
Mhm.
Talk is great for anyone who just has a message.
Okay.
Not, I believe honestly that we all have a message. I think we all
Yeah.
have our own, we all have journeys that we go through in life, and we all have something that has maybe hurt us, or something we've gone through that's, been painful, or maybe not painful, but maybe, just going through a journey that, look, there's hard bits to everyone's journey. And then, so anything you
Yeah.
learn that could make your journey easier, there you go, you have a message to share. So I honestly recommend it to anyone who is just, I guarantee you, anyone who watches any TED Talks in general, I think you're going to get pulled. You're just going to get pulled and have this bug to, like, yeah, I want to do that. I want to be up there impacting
Mhm.
people. I think you just feel it. I know some people just aren't really into the whole public speaking thing, and that's fine. But what's great is I have a really good friend who helped me write my TED Talk. Like, I sent her drafts. She came back at me with her tweaks and her ideas. And my TED Talk was very different after that. She's not a public speaker, but she's a fantastic writer and a fantastic editor. So, there's
Mhm.
people like that who could be involved in other ways. Maybe someone who wants to do a TED Talk. Help them come up with their
Gotcha.
idea worth spreading. Help them write it. Like, or
Gotcha.
you could even volunteer with the organization. They have tons of opportunities if you just go to TED.com. They even have a fellowship program for anyone who does want to join the program and learn from the ground up how to do a spectacular talk. And then at the end of the program, they have you do a talk in front of in one of their
Mm.
events. So
Nice.
yeah, it's kind of hard to answer that question, because I feel like, who doesn't want to do this, but
Okay.
yeah, so yeah, anybody with a message who they want to get it out there, for sure.
No, I love that you're saying that, because I think that there are different reasons. Nancy Squil, I don't know how to say her last name, Squilas, Bruno. Do you know
Oh
her?
yes, I know Nancy. Hi,
Yeah, she says hello. So your
Nancy.
tribe is coming out. But everyone has a different reason, right? Like, so someone like you mentioned, you could do a TED Talk because maybe you have a book and you feel like your book has a certain type of message that you want to get out there. That's a great way to do that, and not necessarily become a public speaker, but get your message out in a confined way. Maybe you want to speak, maybe you want to push yourself, maybe you've never done a public kind of forum speaking event, and this would be a great opportunity. So there are different reasons, but I like that you said that if you feel like you have a message in this world, that TED is kind of a really great conduit for you to get that out to the people. So I love that. And I did actually have one more question. So you said you were fearful when you're kind of going through this process. How did you overcome that? Just through self-love, or was there specific tools that you use to get over that fear?
Yeah, I mean, I have a bunch of tools in my toolbox, so that I teach, and so I feel fear all the time, especially right now in my career. There's fear of being an entrepreneur and starting a company and putting everything I
Yeah.
have into it. There's, of course, there's negative what ifs. What if I fail? What if I can't take care of my speakers? What if I can't get us bookings? There's all these what ifs that come with that. And so it was kind of the same. So my point is that there's so many negative what ifs in my life right now in general. So this was just another one. But when I just had to sit down and take a really good look at, look at what's happening. My dreams are coming true. TED Talk was always a dream. I manifested that, So I just had to fight
Yes.
through the fear. I would just constantly remind myself, you're on your path. Go you did this, be proud of yourself, because there was that other voice that's like, what if you fail? What if you mess up? What if you forget what you're saying? And
Mm.
then there's this long
Yeah.
pause. What if people don't clap? What if people don't participate? What if people don't like it? I don't know. There's two sides to everything. And I put more of my focus on, and that's the whole thinking positively, having a positivity
Mm-hmm.
practice. That's why that's so important, is just when you have a positivity practice in place, when any negative thought comes into your mind, like I'm in the habit now where just automatically, and it took years for this, but now automatically I'll think a negative thought and I flip it right away. I'm like, okay,
Absolutely.
I get it, brain, I get it. But, but what if this is freaking amazing and this helps launch the
Yeah.
love group in a whole new way that I could never, and then something interesting happens the second, that's why I love this tool so much, not to go back to the what if, but I will for a second. The reason I love
Yeah.
this tool so much is it makes me smile on the inside, because we have this voice that's always, don't get your hopes up, don't get too excited, right?
Yeah.
And I say, get excited. Like, what is there to lose? Okay, so what if that thing doesn't happen? Would you rather spend your time, your precious time, your day, thinking worrisome thoughts, having anxiety, worrying about, just having fear? Would you rather be living in that fearful place? Or would you rather be feeling excited and happy about the possibility of something happening? Because that's what I think got me through it, was I decided I'm going to live in a possibility of extraordinary excitement, success, happiness, joyfulness. Like, so it's a constant reminder. It's not magic. It is effort. It is effort. It's work. You have to put the work in. And anybody who puts the work into flipping their negative thoughts into positive ones, they will get through the fear, and they will be able to go ahead and do that thing that they maybe didn't think they'd end up doing. I know someone recently who is she's a Pilates instructor, and we just had this chat the other day. She was always very fearful of speaking in front of people. So she decided to set up her practice having one-on-one clients only. And that's what made her comfortable, because she stayed in this small place of,
of what she could deal with.
Yes, yeah. And when she started to really do the work and do, she has her own tools. And when she started to really just focus on, like, what if I could speak to more people, and just kind of living in, like, okay, what's my possibility? What can I really get out of this? She just slowly started, and all of a sudden she found herself in a group setting. And once she did that, she was like, wow, I really could do this. Like, I'm living my possibility of community and connection. That was her possibility. And then she just recently got asked to do an event with 60 people where she had to wear a headset. And she was like, I can't believe, she goes, even during the event, I was like, I can't believe I'm wearing a headset. I can't believe I'm in front of 60 people. Like, she could, because you know what it is? You don't see it for yourself. So therefore it isn't.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. To add to that, I would say, and Shira, I see your question, so we'll get to that shortly. To add to that, in my own coaching practice, I primarily work with women, entrepreneurs, and creatives who are trying to grow their business, who are trying to conquer fear. And I have found for myself, as well as my clients, if you stop working from a place of outcome, you get away from the issue of uncertainty, because what you said was, what if, right? And so people are struggling with the uncertainty of outcomes, right? Like, will this land? Will this be successful, right? So we keep focusing on the end point instead of what? Manifesting, right? Using the mindset of, I want to succeed. I want my event to be successful. So then what? What do? I have to email 50 people a day. I need to network. I need to do social media live streams. Like if you work away from the outcome and focus on the daily practice regimen of what you need to do, what are you doing? Essentially, you're manifesting the outcome that you want. But if you just sit there and instead of focusing on the journey, you keep focusing on the outcome, you're not manifesting the outcome, because you're not putting in the work. Like you said, it's not magical, it's work. Yeah. Right? So why are we focused on an outcome that we're not even focusing on the journey for? That it doesn't compute. Totally. Right? So,
and I'd love to,
that's what I try to do. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. And I would love to add to that. I just can't help but think of the word do. Listening to you, I'm like, okay, I know that in moments when I was feeling scared about getting this next draft to the coach, once I sat down and just did, and just focused on the action aspect of it, everything would come much more naturally, where it was before I sat down that I was like, oh gosh, I don't,
the uncertainty,
no ideas are coming. And I'm like, but I'm not sitting down doing. Like, let me just sit down and let me just start writing, even if I have to throw it away, whatever. Like, it's those taking action.
It's that action.
It's the action, and it's just being in it. And because when you're in it, you're not you don't have time to really sit and
You're
dwell
not
on
thinking
it.
about exactly.
Yeah.
It's the living in the presence of the action that's necessary to achieve the outcome of choice, right? And so people keep focusing on the theory of, oh, well, how will it? And it's like, but boom, boom, did you do the work? Like, are you doing the work? Because if
Yeah.
you're doing the work, you don't have time to think about the what ifs, right?
Yes.
And focusing on what you need. But
Yes.
I know you're super busy. So Shira says, and this leads to the last question essentially, which she says, is your book solely for people with psoriasis, and where can it be purchased? So talk about the book, talk about, who's the book for, where can people get it, as well as, everything else with Love Group and any announcements you have.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you, Shira. So my book is honestly for everyone. I wrote it from a place of, this is my journey with psoriasis, with this skin condition. This is how I helped.
Yeah.
This is how I healed it. This is what I've learned on my journey. So it's like half about nutrition, half about self-love and taking care of yourself through,
And the title?
Oh, the title is PS, which stands for psoriasis. PS, it's all about love, how a painful journey with psoriasis became a life devoted to healing others. So in short,
Absolutely.
PS, it's all about love. So, one thing that I thought of while writing the book was that people with skin issues will really appreciate this book. But I was really shocked at how many people didn't have skin issues who read it, who came back to me and said, I can't believe how much I got out of this book. I have plenty of people in my life with autoimmune diseases or struggling even with limiting beliefs they need to read this book. So honestly, and I wrote it really from a place of like, I'm sitting down in my living room and I'm talking to you and I'm just having a conversation and I'm bringing you through all of my really intimate, raw moments, which we all have. Mine might have been with my skin, but yours is about something different, but we all have those moments of struggle and battling something, whether it's demons with body image, whether it's, skin conditions, you name it. So you can absolutely get it on Amazon, or barnesandnoble.com, or even outskirtspress.com, which is my publisher. And it's on my website. My personal website is healingmyskin.com. And anybody who wants can read about my journey there. And there's lots of really great resources for people. People can contact me. And then the Love Group is a separate website. That's thelovegroup.org. And anyone could go on, see tons of information about the speakers and their messages and their bios and their photos, read all about our sponsors and what we offer and our topics and our packages on what we do when we go out there.
Absolutely.
And we're all of us are so excited. We have events coming up with the Eileen Fisher Leadership Institute in the summer, which Natasha is speaking at the August workshop. And right now we're just getting that together. We're making amazing goodie bags for the girls from amazing sponsors. And just working with them, getting that sorted. And we have an amazing opportunity coming up in the fall to present to UCLA. And and I just had an amazing meeting with a superintendent of a school district in Long Island, and there's going to be plenty of opportunity there come the fall.
Cool.
So there's just I'm just pitching, looking for partnerships, just getting us out there, getting us doing our thing, getting us doing, right? Because in the doing,
work.
Yeah, it is. It is not about the Love Group being successful and making money. Well, we're a nonprofit, but just getting us out there, all building our platforms. It's not even about that. It is a little bit, but what it's about is making an impact on our youth and getting them to feel love and good, and just getting them to feel good in their own skin. So
absolutely.
So anybody between thelovegroup.org or healingmyskin.com can contact me and buy my book and learn about what the Love Group has going on. And just anything they want, they can contact us. We're here.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Kim, for joining the Dressing Room Mate live stream chat. I know we had to do a lot of work for us to get together. We were definitely determined in life, but it was, as always, a very meaningful and a very soul-filling conversation. And I appreciate your honesty. I definitely have to read your book, because as someone with hypothyroidism, which is, a new diagnosis for myself, I'm trying to learn how to deal with my health and how to be public about it and talk about kind of my journey and struggle. So, you definitely are a role model for me in that, because again, it's very vulnerable to talk about your body and your health in, you know, in the public eye. But,
Yeah.
you know, I think that that transparency has such great value for everyone else, right? How many millions of people have psoriasis who maybe don't feel like they have someone to talk to? And like you said, if you wrote the book from a, hey girl, just sitting down talking,
Yeah.
they have you to go to. And that's incredible. And that's something that that you took the time and the energy and the sweat and all of that to put into that. So thank you for doing the work that you're doing. Thank you for having the Love Group. As always, it's an honor to be a part of it and an honor to be your friend and you know, work with you. So thank you for everyone who tuned in. Your tribe came out. I see you're well loved and supported. And so yes, come learn about the Love Group. Come learn about Healing My Skin. And at the end of this, I'll share all your links so that people can go back and click and buy and all that good stuff.
Natasha, thank you so, so much. And I cannot even begin to tell you how much I appreciate you doing this and getting this message out there. And I just want to just say one last thing. And that's that, you know, people might see what I post on social media and think I've like got it all together and that I don't still struggle with my skin disease, because that is not the case. When I have stress in my life, I see spots. When I eat poorly, I see spots. And, you know, and that's just a fact of life. But it just is a constant reminder to keep doing the work. That's all it is. It's a huge indicator. And I look at it and I think, thank you for making me aware that I'm not in balance and I'm going to get on that. And so we all have our different indicators in our life. Some are headaches, some are skin issues, some are, you know, thyroid issues. We all have our indicators and it's something to be grateful for, because they're just, you know, our body's letting us know what's going on. So anyway, I just wanted to just be really transparent about that and authentic, because, you know, I struggle just as much as anyone who might be watching with everything, stress, food, you name it. We all have our hard times. So, but definitely get my book, or I'll just mail you a copy, because you definitely need to read it. But thank you so much for having me. I so appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And it's amazing.
Thanks everyone. Absolutely. Thanks for everyone tuning in. And we definitely have to do this again, and hopefully easier
oh my gosh,
next time. Well, I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay.
Be good.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.